All right, quick question. This is from Information Station JW. Hello, wherever you are. Quick question. If I wanted to create my music tracks on my Trident Studio versus creating in Cakewalk, could I then plug in my Trident into my Focusrite interface and record that as a track? What setting would I select to do that in Cakewalk? Thanks. If I'm creating music, or if you're creating music within another device, maybe it's your Korg Trident, or it might be your Yamaha, whatever keyboard you use, or it might be even your MPC, etc., and you're recording your beat in there, there's a few different ways that you can go about doing this. One, my MX61 has a capability where it has an audio interface built within it, which means not only can I plug up via Midi cable or USB cable, I can also route the USB and it actually records the audio from the keyboard. So what I mean by that is if I'm recording Midi, like I got my Midi track and let's say this is my audio track, I can have both of these on. It's going to record the Midi data coming from the keyboard, but it's also going to record the audio coming from the keyboard. And why this is a good thing is because if I'm recording direct audio, that means I'm going to get the exact sounds that I'm using within my keyboard. If I'm recording Midi, that means that I'm going to take those sounds and I'm going to change them. So maybe later on, like for instance, if you're in a Trident and you're recording your Trident, and maybe you just want the Midi data, like, you had your drums and your bass and all this stuff in there, but when you want to bring it to Cakewalk, you want to be able to change the sounds later on. Or maybe you're in love with the sounds you have in your Trident. You just want to bring it in here and mix it. So a few different ways you can do that is you can run left and right out of your keyboard and go stereo into your interface, whatever that may be, and then put on this record. And in this case, you would record stereo. Or if you want to say, hey, I want to record 2 channels, maybe I want to record the keyboard on one track and maybe I want to record the bass on one track. Well, you can solo out your instruments, play your keyboard part, record it in, go back, play your drum part, record it in. It might be a little more tedious to do it that way. Or you can just take the Midi data. And once you bring the Midi data in, you can do that by either saving it as a Midi. On your keyboard, normally there's a Midi part that you can save it as. And then you can import it via USB, or maybe you might have an external flash drive that you plug into your keyboard. You can bring that in. Or like I said, you can record the signal coming from whatever device you're in. So in this case, it would be input, and then the input would be coming from, I don't know, Mini, Omni, or it might be coming from whatever your device is. You might see it here. And if you don't have it set up correctly for that, once you plug in your USB devices, you go to Midi devices. And in this case, my XR18 has Midi in, Midi out. So I can use it. I can plug my keyboard straight into my XR18 and then run the sound in that way. Or I can plug my keyboard directly in, like this keyboard to the left of me, or to the right of me rather. This Yamaha, it has a USB interface built in it. So I can run the USB straight into here and record whatever's coming from here. But it won't be the audio, it would just be the data that's coming in. So you can go here that way and do that, and then you can set it up, play back. You can set up your instruments. It's a bunch of other things you can do here, but that's what you want to start if you're going to do that process, which is cool because it works. If you're used to being inside your keyboard and you're not really familiar with Cakewalk, or you're not comfortable with Cakewalk yet, record somewhere else, bring it in, then you can separate it. All right, that was a good question. Thank you, Information Station JW, and hopefully that answered your question. I did answer your question in the comments, so hopefully you did get it.